What's going on, Jeromes? So it is the most wonderful time of the year, firing up another 7-round Vikings mock draft. Now, what we've done different this year, as opposed to just streaming pick, going a little bit more in depth on the prospects, and we generally try to go a little bit different prospects, although some guys are our favorites and are in multiple mock drafts, but want to give different perspectives and really scratch the surface on some of these prospects, especially day 2, day 3. So this is what we're doing. And of course, this is not NAM. There are rules here, so we got lay out what's going on. So Kirko signs with the Falcons in our scenario here. JJ still signs his 4-year extension, which is great. Daniil leaves. Reisner, Wanham, Hicks, Osborne, Powell are re-signed. Harrison Smith and Harrison Phillips are released. Now we'll get into why here, because the Vikings do sign Justin Madubuike from the Ravens, and even though I love Harrison Phillips, he could have some trade value, but I think it's more likely that the Vikings would have to release him and free up that $6.5 million in cap space. And even though the Vikings aren't bringing back Daniil and Kirko, the Vikings will get younger along the D line. And Phillips, stud, but Madubuike would be an upgrade. Harrison, released, maybe he retires, who knows. The Vikings do sign Sean Murphy-Bunting, helping supplement a little bit of depth along the outside at corner. So that being said, let's dive on in. So first off, since the Falcons already have Kirko, let's do a little bit of business. So we made a trade up from 11 to 8. Including 2 5th-rounders and a future 3rd, as well as Kinkenny, because why not? Could cost more, but who knows? This is our simulation. And the Vikings secure J.J. McCarthy, dynamite. So I still think that Williams, May, and Daniels go win-play show 1, 2, 3, and J.J. McCarthy in this spot. I think when he throws, because he is going to throw, he's not going to run at the combine because of a hamstring issue. But I think that he's going to open up a lot of eyes. And the meetings with Kevin O'Connell and Josh, not Luke McCown. Plus, JJ saying, "Oh, I would love to throw Justin Jefferson." Of course, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't, man? But JJ. It would have been nice to have him sit for a year, work on mechanics and all that stuff. But now with Kirk Cousins gone, it's time to have the hard reset on this franchise. And JJ is going to be dynamite. JJ to JJ, of course. Yeah, that's the triumvirate right there. Love it, man. Next up, in the second round, we are going Rook Ororo. So now, this is post day 1 of the combine. So D linemen and linebackers worked out. So, there's going to be some bias there. And, if Braden Fisk wasn't around, Rook Ororo would be talked about quite a bit. The pride of Clemson, he's 6'4", 284, and put up some great numbers at the combine in the 98.8 percentile. Great in the sprints, great in the jumps too. But a little bit lighter of a prospect. I think that he could stand to add 10, 15 pounds to his frame. But at Clemson last year, 25 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, and a partridge in a pear tree. Explosive first step. Plays with great leverage. Plays with great pop as well. Good lateral quickness. Now, needs refinement, even though he's been in college for 17,000 years, but he is raw. He is very toolsy, though, and he is a guy that certainly could and should develop very nicely along the defensive line for the Vikings. Can play 4-tech, 5-tech, can play 3-tech. Actually, Zerline, NFL.com gave him the draft comp of Justin Madubuike, who the Vikings just signed. So having both those guys at the 5-tech spot, just collapsing that pocket, be pretty damn sweet, man. Pretty damn sweet. All right, so next up, third round. So we did a little bit of business. So we traded down from 42 to 47 with the Giants. We got number 70 back. We gave up the 2 4th-rounders, 109 and 130, and that's so we could get our guy. Yes, T'Vondre Sweat. Just like Keith Sweat. Nobody who can plug the run at 0-tech. Nobody like T'Vondre Sweat. That's right, man. So T'Vondre is a guy that we talked about quite a bit. He's 6'4", 366. Now, people are going to poo-poo his RAS. He ran a 4.27 40. If your nose tackle is running 40 yards in a straight line, it's already a bad day, right? And also, these numbers. So first off, these numbers in terms of percentiles are in the same category as Rook Ororo. So that's the same comparison group. So Rook Ororo at 284 versus T'Vondre Sweat at 366. So 4.27 is perfectly fine. 28-inch vert for a 366-pound dude is amazing. So yeah, T'Vondre Sweat, no questions about athleticism. But last year, unanimous All-American, Outland Award winner, 45 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 91.7 PFF grade. He and Byron Murphy were a fantastic dynamic duo on the inside of that Texas defense, man. And so your Vikings defensive line going forward will be T'Vondre Sweat, Ruka Rororo, and also Justin Matabuke, and maybe some Jaquelin Roy thrown in there too. That's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good, completely turning the beat around. Next up, so 3 picks left since we condensed a little bit into the 5th round. So yeah, got to service the offensive line a little bit. Drake Nugent, the center out of Michigan. So Nugent was a starter at Stanford, and then he took his talents to Michigan for 2023. And the fact that Michigan's offensive line was generally a lot of veterans, a lot of upperclassmen who have been in Ann Arbor, and the fact that he could just walk in cold, not knowing a soul, and command the respect and be that center was great, man. It's fantastic. But high level leader, high football IQ, phone booth blocker, decent quickness, leverage and angles, very technical, 70.8 PFF pass blocking grade last year, only gave up 1 sack, 9 pressures, 2 penalties, and of course, yes, uniting him with his guy JJ McCarthy long term. Kind of like it, man. Then into the 6th round. So Trevin Wallace is a linebacker who really helped himself at the combine, and he's probably seen as a late day 3 pick, and I think that he potentially could have worked his way into the middle of day 3. So getting him in the 6th round in this spot is pretty good. But Trevin Wallace, he's 6'1", 237, 80 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks last year for the Wildcats. 4.51 in the 40, great in the jumps as well, and he is twitched up downhill instinctual linebacker, and I think that he's a guy. His 2022 season, PFF wise, was a lot better than 2023, but the Wildcats had a couple of issues on defense there. But could you see him potentially as a long-term running mate for Ivan Pace Jr.? Potentially, but another plus athlete, contribute on special teams, probably to replace Troy Dye in that regard, and then maybe him and Asamoah, after Hicks hangs him up, compete to be the guy opposite of Pace. And then lastly, so Madison Gowell with the win, and Ty Chandler, and then stylistically, I wanted more of a power running back, so I brought in the hammer Isaiah Davis from the National Championes, South Dakota State University. He's 6'1", 220. Last year ran for 1578 and 8 touchdowns, 6.7 yards per carry. Also chipped in 199 yards receiving and a reception. Is scheme agnostic, can run power, can run inside, outside zone. Has good feet for a larger back, a good vision, good patience as well. He's not going to be that home run hitter, but I think that he certainly could be like the Tyler Algier to Ty Chandler's Bijan Robinson. I just said that. It's crazy, man. But a little bit of fire and ice, a little bit of smash and dash. Him being the smash and Ty Chandler being the dash. Feel pretty good with that. So, again, recapping our scenario. Kirk Cousins, you go home. Daniil leaves. Wanham is back on the edge. You do have so even though Daniil left, did bring DJ Wanham back, and even though we didn't address things in the draft or for agency on the edge, I do think that Patrick Jones second, Ajakar the second should and could step up. Also, Matabuke as well as Ruka Rororo can kick outside a little bit, hand the dirt wide 9 on some certain passing downs. But McCarthy, quarterback of the future as well as the quarterback of now. So now the Vikings, after Kirk leaves, after Daniil leaves, hitting that hard reset button. Ruka Rororo as well as T'Vondre Sweat and Justin Matabuke. That's a really fun trio for the front of the offense, front of the defensive line going forward. Drake Nugent, man in the middle. So you got Nugent and his guy JJ McCarthy reunited, and it feels so good. Maybe at this point you cut Bradbury. Who knows? Trevin Wallace, although his salary would have been guaranteed. Whatever. Trevin Wallace, downhill, physical freak linebacker, really helped himself at the combine. And then you got Isaiah Davis pairing up with Ty Chandler in the backfield. So feel pretty good about this draft, as always, because it's our draft. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. You guys are the best. Skol, production value.